Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. All praise and thanks belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May the peace and blessing of Allah be upon his servant and final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As to follows, my dear respected brothers in Islam, inshallah ta'ala, because we all know that Eid is tomorrow, I wanted to share with you something else, but then I had to change the topic so I can share with you some of the Eid Sunan, some of the Sunan of the Eid that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he himself used to practice, and the Sahaba radiallahu anhum that came after him also used to practice. And inshallah ta'ala, we take as much benefit we can from this, because perhaps tomorrow there won't be time after Salat al-Fajr to share any of them. So first and foremost, Al-Eid. Al-Eid, it's called the Eid, it comes from the word Aada Ya'udu. And Aada in the Arabic language for something to come back, to always come back. So Eid is called the Eid because of the fact that it comes back every single year at the exact time, which is straight after Ramadan. And it repeats itself over and over again from the time Eid was a sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon this nation until the end of time. The Eid will always come back, so it was called the Eid. Now, there are some sunan of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Perhaps let me share them with you, inshallah, in order. The first of which is that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on that day, in the morning of that day, he would take a ghusl, which is basically the shower, bathe himself before he'd go out to the salat. And that is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that one performs ghusl before he leaves. And the best time for it is straight after Salat al-Fajr. So immediately as you pray, you go straight home, no gathering, no talking, because there is no time anyway. You go home and you perform the ghusl that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to perform. And you do this in the intention that you want to implement what Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to do. And with that intention, you're rewarded. Just for that shower, you will be rewarded. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also, he used to yatajammal. The hadith mentions that he used to beautify himself. That would mean with clothing. And it's been narrated that he used to wear hullatun hamra. He used to have a red garment. He used to only wear it for the Eid occasion. So if one has really beautiful clothing, expensive clothing, it doesn't matter. You can get out of your way and go out of your way to buy something that is really beautiful, really expensive. It doesn't matter. It's for Salat al-Eid. And to wear that to the Eid and pray Eid with it is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And to wear it for the entire day is also a sunnah, not only for the salat and go back home and change to some other clothes, as some people do. You can remain with that clothes for the whole day, and inshallah that is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So that is the ghusl, wearing the best of clothing, and the perfume as well. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would always leave the house and he would put perfume on. And this is narrated that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he used to love perfume. And there came a hadith that mentioned that there is no wasting in perfume. So as expensive as the perfume it is, that money that you spend on perfume is never called wasted money. Or it's never called you overspent on perfume. There is no such thing as overspending on perfume. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to love the perfume, and he'd get whatever it is of the perfume sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So this is something now specific for the brothers. And when we come to the sisters, please also advise your wives, your children, your daughters, your mothers and sisters and so on, that this is special for the men. As for the women, the way they come out to the Eid, they can have their ghusl, but then wearing normal clothing. No colorful rainbow clothing, attractive clothing, high heels and all that is not a sunnah for the woman. That is haram for the woman. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he describes the sahabiyat, they have been described in the hadith that kunna yakhrujna thakilat, meaning they'd come out with normal garments. Unattractive clothing, the very same clothing she wears from day to day. That is how the woman should come out, and of course no perfume for the woman. Now that is the first sunnah. So that's the clothing, the ghusl, and the perfume. The second sunnah Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to do is that he used to eat dates before he left the house, and an odd number of dates. So it's 1, 3, 5, 7, not breakfast. This is just dates, just so you can, this is between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and between you and yourself, that today I'm not fasting. That's the point of the day, is that today I'm not fasting, and today I'm eating this date in celebration of Eid. And so it's haram to fast the day of Eid. Anyone who chose to fast it, this is unacceptable, Allah doesn't accept it. So this is a day of celebration, and you're eating this day straight after Salat al-Fajr when you get home, before you leave the house to the Eid. And this is you saying that this day I'm celebrating and I am breaking my fast. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam did so as well. That's the second sunnah, which is the date. Number 3 is now you're prepared, you're ready to leave the house. So you leave the house and you go one way. And when you finish Salat al-Eid, we'll speak about that, you come back a different way. So the way you go there and the way you come back have to be 2 different paths. Now if you did the same path, it doesn't matter. But we're speaking about sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, is that the way he'd take to the Eid would be different to the way he'd come back. Chose another route, even if it's longer, it doesn't matter. And the sunnah is that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to walk to Salat al-Eid. So if that's something that is a possibility and you can do, then that's alhamdulillah. If not, then park your car, and wherever you park and you start walking, intending that this is your sunnah that you're trying to follow, and that is walking to wherever Salat al-Eid is taking place. The ulama, they comment about this and they say that you take 2 different paths, one going there and a different one coming back, so that on the day of judgment, the road bears witness for you that this person took one direction to Eid, and you have another land also that makes witness and intercession for you on the day of judgment that you took another path to it on that day of Eid. So that is the third, that's the third sunnah. Now another sunnah, my brothers, is that Salat al-Eid was prayed in the open. That is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he used to pray it in the open. And what we used to see before that, many masajid used to pray inside the masjid. That is not sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The sunnah in essence, fundamentally, is to pray it outside in the park, in the open, where there is no shelter above you. But of course, in the case of rain, like now, since 2 years ago, and for the next 7 or 8 years, Allahu Alam, in the cold weather, windy weather, rain, just like you see now, there's no harm to pray indoors, to pray inside the masjid. That is all fine nowadays, so it doesn't matter, inshallah, for that reason. The other thing is, when you go to Salat al-Eid, there is no sunnah before and there is no sunnah after. Except if you're going to pray in a masjid, obviously you pray the 2 rak'ah before, that is tahiyyat al-masjid, before you sit down. But if you're to pray indoors, let's say in a function center or something, or you prayed in the park, then there is no sunnah before. You come and you sit straight away. There is a narration that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he finished Salat al-Eid, he went home and he prayed 2 rak'at. That is a sunnah. So if you finish Salat al-Eid and you went back home, then pray your 2 rak'at there in sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because that's what he did straight after Salat al-Eid. The other sunnah, my brothers, is of course the takbir. That is one of the whole purpose of this whole day. Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentions it in the Quran. He says, وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةِ, meaning I've given you Ramadan so that you can complete the count, finish 30 days. Alhamdulillah, we finished 30 days. And then He says, وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ, and I've given you Ramadan so that you can declare Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's greatness based on how He guided you. وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, and so that perhaps you may thank Him. So based on how He guided you, you're supposed to engage in takbir because of the fact He guided you. Guided you to what? Guided you to the increase of your iman you received in this month. Guided you to the good deeds that one did in this month. So you're saying Allahu Akbar, you're making the takbir because of the guidance Allah gave you in this month. You weren't of those losers that just walked around in the month and had no idea what was going on and couldn't wait for Eid. The one who truly is making takbir on the day of Eid is the one who truly made advantage of this month. Otherwise, didn't do anything in this month, and takbir really defeats the purpose of the takbir. So this is why one making takbir. He's making takbir because Allah Azza wa Jal guided him to the good that he would have possibly never done without the hope and the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the takbir, my brothers, this is a sunnah. The takbir begins the moment you leave the house. So it doesn't begin after Salat al-Fajr when you're here. Go back home, and once you're prepared and ready and everyone is in the car, as you're now leaving the house, you begin the takbir. That is the sunnah. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to begin reciting the takbir the moment he left his house. And you keep making the takbir until you reach Musalla al-Eid, or the place to pray the Eid. and you keep saying it until the Imam begins his salat. Once he stands up for salah, no more takbir, you stop it right then and there. This is different to Eid al-Adha. Eid al-Adha goes on for 3 days, that's different. The Eid al-Fitr, it goes on from the time you leave the house until the Imam begins the salat. What to say? There are different versions. There is an authentic version, there are some additions, but the most authentic that we know of, and that is the narration of Ibn Abbas and Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhuma, is that it is Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, either 3 times or either 2 times. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. That's the famous one that we know, that is the most authentic one. There are others, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar kabira. That's also authentic, so if you engaged in that the whole time, it doesn't matter, you would have hit the sunnah of Rasulullah and got it spot on. The other additions that we hear, and the poetry and the rhyming and so on, all that is nothing to do with Sunnah al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and that is not something that is supposed to be done. We're supposed to follow his guidance because that was the best in which what he came with and what he taught us, and that's exactly what we need, nothing further, nothing more, nothing less. What the Quran has and what the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has is enough for us to attain the highest levels in the paradise. Is enough. What's in the books is enough to attain the highest levels of the paradise. There is no need to add anything extra. So if you were to just stick to this version, the one that you always know with no additions, then inshallah ta'ala you have got the sunnah inshallah. Okay, so this is the takbirat al-Eid. In regards to Salat al-Eid, my brothers, Salat al-Eid, there has been difference of opinion as to what the ruling regarding Salat al-Eid is. Some said it is sunnah mu'akkada, meaning a stressed upon sunnah, and others said it's a fard. But perhaps the opinion of the fard is much more correct. That Salat al-Eid is a fard, it's an obligation. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he used to command everyone to come out to Salat al-Eid. It is even fard upon the old and the young and the males and the females and the menstruating women as well. This is the hadith, the sahabiyat, they used to say, Umirna an nakhruja. We have been commanded to come out, almost making it like an obligation. So even the women that are menstruating, it is obligatory upon them to come out and witness the salat, witness the khutbah, and witness the dua and make ameen if there is any dua that is made on that day. And of course, why are we saying it's fard? Let me explain to you this so you can understand what I'm saying. You all know that if Eid was to be on a Friday, if it was to fall on a Friday, then it makes Salat al-Jum'ah what? Sunnah or fard? It makes it a sunnah, right? So the ulama, they said the fact that Salat al-Eid on a Friday makes the Jum'ah, which is fard, a sunnah, meaning this replaced it, so it has to be a fard. It has to be in the same status and in the same rank as it is for it to nullify the other one, or for it to abolish and cancel the other one out. So Salat al-Eid, my brothers, with no choice saying, leave the opinions on the side and take it for yourself as being a fard. It's an obligation to attend, and it's an obligation to pray the Salat al-Eid, obligation. Now after Salat al-Eid, which is the khutbah is not obligatory. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, after he finished the salat, he said to the Sahaba that whoever wants to sit down and listen, sit down and listen. And who doesn't want to sit down, he can go. وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَذْهَبْ. And whoever wants to go, then he can leave as well. But the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam again is that he did the khutbah, and the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they sat down to hear the khutbah. Now, so this is Salat al-Eid. As for the menstruating women, they do come, but they stay away from the prayer area. Where the women are praying, they stay away. They can sit in the back and just watch the event happening. The other thing is the salat itself. Now, of course, you know that it begins with 7 takbirat, and then the second rak'ah is 5 takbirat. So the first one is 7, including takbirat al-ihram. So you count 7 at the beginning. The second rak'ah is 5, excluding the takbirah that you're coming from the ground up to the top. So you tell Allahu Akbar, then 5 after that. Now here's the thing, the question is about raising the hands and not raising the hands. Does one raise his hand or doesn't he raise his hand? Now this is an opinion that there's a lot of difference about. There is a group that say yes, there is a group that says no, but let's look at this inshallah. there is a narration that Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, he used to raise his hand for Salat al-Eid, and what is said for Salat al-Eid is also said for Salat al-Janazah, the funeral prayer. So he used to raise his hand. But there is no specific hadith, my brothers, that mentioned the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to do this. So the ulama, one group, they said the fact that Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu used to do it, and who is Ibn Umar in relation to the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he was someone who left nothing out, literally nothing out. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to walk around and his shirt from here was open, and Ibn Umar used to be found and seen doing that. And he used to be asked, what is this? He said, because Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam does this. So there was no one like him as attached to the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam as he, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, was. So if it is been authentically narrated that he used to do this and raise his hand with every takbirah and the takbirat of the janazah, then that definitely points to the fact that this is a Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So you have one opinion and you have one choice to do that. There is the other opinion that says, wait, the fact that there is no hadith and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to do that, then fundamentally you have to remain like this until there's a daleel. And the fact that there is no daleel, then one is not supposed to raise his hand and one is supposed to keep his hand on his chest the entire time in Salat al-Eid and Salat al-Janazah. But my brothers, whatever you choose, it does not matter. The one who's raising his hand shouldn't look at the one who's not raising his hand and think about him something. And the one who's not raising his hand shouldn't look at the one who's raising his hand and, like sort of speak to him after the salat. There's no thing. Both of them, inshaAllah, are the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If you chose you raise your hand, the ulama, they said that's a sunnah. And if you chose not to raise your hand, the ulama, they said that's a sunnah as well. So it's all good, inshaAllah ta'ala. And one more thing remains, and that is the greetings. The greetings after Salat al-Eid. And this is something that the Sahaba radiallahu anhum used to do. And it is only the words of تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَّا وَمِنْكُمْ. So they used to shake each other's hand and say تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَّا وَمِنْكُمْ. May Allah Azza wa Jal accept from us and may Allah Azza wa Jal accept from you. That was the dua, the greeting they used to make. It doesn't matter if you use other words, كُلُّ عَامٍ وَأَنْتُمْ بِخَيْرٍ, and whatever it is that you're going to use of other greetings, it's all good, it's all fine. But the one that the Sahaba used to use was تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَّا وَمِنْكُمْ. And it wasn't the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to initiate the greeting. He never used to go around and say to the people, تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَّا وَمِنْكُمْ. But it used to, if he was approached, then he would respond back. So that is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But there's no harm as well in going to the brother and being the first one to say to him, تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَّا وَمِنْكُمْ, and responding back with the same words. It doesn't matter, inshallah ta'ala, it is all the same. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us. We ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us people of the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.